Hi, my name is Jade McConna, CEO of Petite Powerhouse Feminine Success Coaching. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the second way to reject hustle culture in favor of feminine success. So, the second way to do so is to reject scarcity and embrace abundance. So, if you're not familiar with these concepts, scarcity is basically the idea that if you don't do something, you're screwed. If you don't accept this job, you're never going to get another job. And abundance is the opposite. It's like, okay, if I don't get this job, a better job is out there. So it's really just kind of deciding if you want your cup to be half full or half empty. And it's really important that you focus on an abundance mindset. So, for example, in my interview coaching, I'll have clients that are just in back to back to back to back interview cycles. And I can see them getting more and more exhausted and more downtrodden and more bitter, because they're going through it. They're working so hard and it's not panning out and it's really frustrating, which is completely understandable. And sometimes I'll see them in that energy and they're about to just, power through and go into yet another interview cycle, even though they're feeling bitter and funky from their last interviews. But the scarcity in their mind is telling them, You better not, sleep on this. You better not take a moment off because if you don't get a job soon, you're not going to be able to pay your rent, and so on and so forth. That's the hustle culture mindset. So, what I have encouraged them to do and is to actually flip the energy and take control back by possibly moving the interview, rescheduling it, giving themselves some chance to recharge and get in the right mindset. Why? Because what really matters is the energy that you bring. So, forcing yourself into something and bringing a funky energy is going to guarantee that you don't get it, even though hustle culture makes you think that you have no choice and that it is more likely that you will get it if you force yourself. It's just not true. So I have done this myself multiple times. There was this time that I really wanted this creative brand director job. And it was at a big company. It was like a really sexy role. And I could just feel myself becoming very obsessed and attaching so much importance to me getting this job. And 100% if I got it, I was a winner. And 100% if I didn't get it, I was a loser. And I had already decided I was never going to let anything or anyone have that kind of power over me again. So even though it was the last thing I wanted to do, my fingers were like literally shaking. I decided that I needed to flip the energy. And I went back and I said, I can't make this interview this week. Can we push it out until next week? And so we pushed it out, and I took the time to get right with myself, to get recentered, to journal out, why I was feeling so thirsty, and really get myself back into like a positive power place so that when I did go into the interview, I brought, that queen mode energy. And anyway, it turned out not to matter because the job was actually terrible once I got into the details and I had built it up in my mind, which happens all the time. And it wasn't even that great at all. But I didn't know that when I flipped the script. So it did take a lot of discipline. And this is another example of something that's not outcome based, it's essence based because I really showed up like a boss in that moment. And I decided to reject thirst culture and hustle culture and do something that seems totally counterintuitive, but it's actually way more highly correlated with success and with showing up with the right energy so that no matter what happens, even if you go on some lame call like I did and it's this total show, you can still feel great because you love how you showed up. And that's the only thing you can control. So sometimes you have to do things that are very counterintuitive, but if you bring a thirsty, scarcity, overly desperate energy to anything that's important to you, it's not going to pan out or it's going to pan out and be a friggin' nightmare. So flipping that energy is the most important thing. I don't care if you have to move it a week, a month, a year, do what you have to do so that when you go into it, you feel amazing. And in closing, I just want to quote Glennon Doyle, who says, "You can't miss your boat because it's your boat. You can't miss your boat because it is your boat. It is the boat for you. So no matter what happens, you're not going to miss a boat when you're the captain of that boat. It's not going to happen." And that is abundance mindset in a nutshell. And again, you might be like so skeptical and thinking this is like absolutely idiotic, but just look at what's happened up until now. Has like rushing and forcing and pushing actually brought you the results that you were looking for? Or is it worth trying something new? Test it. Don't take my word for it. Go out and try it and see what happens. And I believe that you will be shocked with the results. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.